can knock down threes, Kenny. Now he's going to go back door. Oh, what a feed! Feed to Ume, who goes up for the slam. Devin Lilly drives, pulls up, fires home a two. I'll tell you, man, you cannot underestimate the hustle this big man gives you. Strap in your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on. Home of the Cougars, senior night. Brad Fetters alongside Jeff Vitale getting set to call the action tonight. MAC Red girls basketball. South Pointe South, Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils and the Dakota Cougars. Grosse Pointe, Jeff comes in with a record of 6-8, 1-7 in the MAC Red. Our Dakota Cougars 9-7, 6-3 in division play.
Well, Brad, let me just start off by saying it's first of all to be back. We've been kind of on a hiatus together, and trying to win a few more middle school basketball games. So it's good to be back watching a lot of the former girls I got a chance to coach here play tonight in their final home games, and it's always senior night's always a fun time. It's to celebrate the girls who have put the hard work in throughout the 4 years here, and hopefully they can pass on to the younger players what they've kind of learned from their 4 years here. So it's always a special time, and the underclassmen, I want to go out and get them a victory today, and I'm sure everyone's going to be playing hard for that. So let's play some basketball.
Only two seniors on this Dakota roster, Alexis Oltersdorf and India Reese, both in the starting lineup. Joining them as the first five on the floor will be Gracie Maloney, Simone Andrews, and Tambry Williams. Grosse Pointe South, clad in their road blues with gold trim and gold numbers, line up this way. Maddie Bernard, Elsa Bachert, Isabella Devereaux, Madison Duff, and freshman Morgan Duff.
Well, if you see on the benches, we saw in the JV game, the Grosse Pointe South did not have to go deep into their bench since there was none. They fielded 5 players on the floor, and if you look on the varsity bench, they are 4 players on the bench. So, not a very deep bench, but I can tell you this: every time you play the Grosse Pointe schools, you are in for a battle. And Grosse Pointe North, who fields 8 varsity players, are the first place team in the Red Division. So. Don't let the numbers fool you. These girls are ready to play.
And Grosse Pointe South, their boys team is in first place in the MAC Red. So the Grosse Pointe South getting it done on the hardwood.
With possibly the player of the year in the Red for the boys.
And
Tip
Dakota
play.
Off the very first tip of the game. Couple opportunities down low. Neither goes in. And it's a battle for it. And Gracie Maloney comes down with the rebound as the Cougars will reset, working their way around a screen. Tambry Williams catches it on the block. Knocked out of the hands there of Andrews. Battle for it. Loose ball, still loose. Tie up, and possession arrow favors Grosse Pointe South.
Yeah, 3 offensive rebounds on the opening drive, but no points for the Cougars. So padding those rebounding stats early on.
Grosse Pointe South doesn't score a lot of points, averaging just 41 points per game. But on the other hand, they don't give up many, just 45 points per game against defensively. On the other side, Dakota scoring 51 while giving up 47 per game. In and out on that field goal attempt. Gracie Maloney comes down with the rebound.
Yeah, this is really going to be a tale of 2 paces, Brad. What team can force the other one's play on the other? Grosse Pointe South really likes to slow the game down and kind of, muck it up a little bit, where the Cougars love to get out and run. So it's really going to be who can really kind of enforce their will on the other.
Tambry Williams forced away from the basket. Nice ball fake, goes up strong, and gets rewarded with the first points of the game. 2-0 lead for the Cougars. Blue Devils looking for their first points. And a loose ball. Maloney comes away with the steal. Up ahead to Simone Andrews, right wing side. Pulls up now, goes back over to Maloney, goes up with the ball fake. Lost control of the basketball. Battle for it on the floor is controlled by the Blue Devils. Maddie Bernard out in transition, hangs, can't hit. Duff with the rebound, goes up strong, no good. A little turnaround hook shot, no good as well. And finally, Williams able to wipe it down. Oltersdorf out in transition. Bullet pass to Maloney, no good. Elsa Bachert up ahead, was looking to get it over to Maddie Bernard, who's able to track down that loose ball. Tiptoes the end line, flips a pass out. They ring it around the perimeter. A little 4-out action now for the Blue Devils. Tipped out of bounds. Control will stay with Grosse Pointe South.
Yeah, not a lot of traffic inside there. The Cougars really clog up the middle. Grosse Pointe South did a nice job of getting that rebound, getting out in transition. The Cougars did a nice job of getting back on defense, something I'm sure they're looking to do after they had a really tough loss to Eisenhower the other night and trying to get back to kind of playing the way that they expect themselves to play.
And these two teams kind of going in opposite directions. Grosse Pointe South has lost 3 of their last 4. The Dakota Cougars, on the other hand, have won 6 of their last 8.
Yeah, we were talking to Chelsea McCune, one of the assistant coaches, before the game. The one thing she wanted to talk about, she kind of mentioned was just kind of getting back to basics. It was a very high-scoring game against Eisenhower. They're not used to giving up that many points. And just kind of getting back to their identity. I'm sure that was the focus, getting ready for this basketball game. And this is a tough week for the Cougars. With the snow the games last week, you got 3 games this week in 5 days. That's brutal.
Yeah, they played last night, as a matter of fact, coming away with a 49-37 victory over Port Huron. So this is the second of a back-to-back. That's something in terms of basketball that only the NBA guys are typically accustomed to doing.
Exactly, and then you come back and play on Thursday, too. So, I mean, it's just tough. It's tough.
Oltersdorf for 3, high arcing jumper, no good.
That's a good shot. Wide open, she's got to take that, and did miss it by much.
Maddie Bernard, you see that big brace on her right knee is Elsa Bachert couldn't finish at the rim. Out in transition, Gracie Maloney goes up with the ball fake. Lost control of the basketball momentarily. Now she'll tie up with Bernard. Tambry Williams, all 4 of the points here in the early goings. Simone Andrews between the circles. Cross-court pass, dumped down inside, and Elsa Bachert with the steal. Madison Duff out in transition, goes up strong with the right hand, no good. Oltersdorf comes down with the long defensive rebound. Up ahead to Tambry Williams, who couldn't cleanly catch that pass, but they'll say Cougar ball.
Yeah, a lot of missed bunnies early. I think she was expecting contact on that, and Gracie Maloney did a nice job of just staying with her and not making any contact at all, forced her to miss it. I think she was hoping to kind of get bailed out and go to the free throw line. That didn't happen, and now Dakota, I think, got a break on that out-of-bounds call. We'll see what the Cougars can do.
Maddie Bernard mentioned that brace on her right knee. Catastrophic knee injury last season forced her to miss most of her freshman season. She was on the varsity team last year. It was a struggle for these Blue Devils a season ago. 4-17, their final record, and a 1-9 finish in MAC Red play. In danger of kind of having that identical mark in league play once again this season.
Yeah, it's been some tough sledding for Grosse Pointe South over the past couple seasons.
Such a young team. The only senior starter tonight was Madison Duff. The other 4 starters, 2 of which are juniors, 1 sophomore, and Morgan Duff, who's a freshman.
Oh, and then you mix in the injury from last year. Those are just things that, especially when you only have so many kids on the team, those are things you just can't afford to have happen to you. I mean, with no low numbers like they have with the 9, you really got to have everything go your way.
Dakota calling a 30-second timeout to talk things over. We've almost reached the halfway point of this first quarter, and we're kind of stuck in a bit of a rut here as the Cougars lead at 4-0. Tambry Williams with all 4 of the points.
Yeah, a few turnovers and some missed shots early on have kind of caused this game off to a slow start. You really don't know, with teams playing, back-to-back, you're a little tight, you're a little tired, trying to work the soreness out. This is definitely something that they're not used to. But this is something you got to kind of battle through. It's a long season.
Gabby Brooks Foster checks in for Oltersdorf. Oh, nice little runner there for Tambry Williams.
Nice safety play there by Gracie Maloney on the deep pass.
Morgan Duff catches the inbound pass, now slams on the brakes. Has to avoid picking up that pivot foot. Cross-court pass now into the corner for Lupo. Alexandra Lupo into the game, wears 11 in blue for Grosse Pointe South. Gracie Maloney, the junior, will trigger from the baseline. Able to find Gabby Brooks Foster, the freshman, dumped down low to Tambry Williams, deflected and intercepted. Maddie Bernard out in transition. Will go over to the left wing side. Gets it right back, holds the basketball at the midsection, now goes over to her right-hand side. Being guarded there by Simone Andrews. Defers over to Bockert. Dumped down low and a block shot by Tambry Williams.
Well, definitely trying to use the height advantage inside early on this game and really trying to get that ball inside. But they're also, when they get that ball inside, they're cutting, and Grosse Pointe South is losing a lot of the those Cougars on cuts. So
inbound pass finds Elsa Bockert, went up strong, got fouled in the process of shooting, so she will go to the line for 2. They get Tambry Williams, that's her first. That's the first on the team as well.
It's kind of interesting too, Brad, with as much as Grosse Pointe South has gotten the ball near the basket, this is the first time they actually go into the line tonight. You know, again, for the most part, the Cougars done a good job of not fouling. Right there, she kind of had to foul. But considering how many looks they've gotten on transition or this or that, this is really the first time they're going to the line tonight.
Some changes for Dakota includes Gia Rizzo, the freshman, and Brooklyn Garvalia. Gracie Maloney unable to save that basketball from going out of bounds. So this might be an instance here where Coach McCune's kind of having to shuffle the starting lineup just to keep players fresh. Second game, obviously, in 24 hours. Look out, there's a breakout. Little finger rolls good out of the right hand of Elsa Bockert.
Yeah, Dakota's full court press against Grosse Pointe South, just kind of going that little 4-cross look and then just throwing the ball deep, and they're getting looks.
Brooks Foster dumps it down low to Tambry Williams. Foster from deep, no good. Long rebound controlled by Bernard. Out in transition once again. Up ahead to Morgan Duff, goes up strong with the right hand and finishes at the net.
Yeah, that was a deep 3 on that last attempt also. So
off the head there of Tambry Williams, up ahead and passing to a spot. Bernard and Duff neither able to control that pass, and it sails out of bounds. A little 5-0 run here for Grosse Pointe South. Now Tegan Malloy will come in and replace Tambry Williams.
Yeah, except for Gracie Maloney, pretty much that he's got the starting 5 replaced. And you had mentioned about, getting bodies in there, Brad. I gotta be tired. They were in a dogfight last night with Port Huron, so this is not going to be. This is going to be a game where the bench is going to have to contribute, and you're going to really need some help from those players. Maybe not get those contributions for if you're going to be successful tonight. Grind it out.
Let me ask you a question in regards to coaching and kind of a message you send. You lose to Eisenhower 84-60. I mean, obviously, you never like giving up 84 points. How do you hit the reset button?
I think you go back and kind of watch some of the other films and saying, look, we know what we're capable of. We got to get back to that. And it's taking things to getting it back to basics.
Malloy from deep downtown.
Talking with Coach McEwen before the game about that Eisenhower game, and he did mention a few things that were kind of going on that a lot of people didn't know about. And obviously, I'm not going to share that on the air, but there were some things behind the scenes that didn't make that day very tough either. And also, we saw the first Eisenhower game. We saw Ava Stack get in foul trouble really early. Simone Andrews, it was almost like a mirror image. Simone Andrews got 3 fouls in that first quarter, picked up her 4 early on in the second, and it was literally like she became Ava Stack, and they just feasted on it. Also, Tambry Williams did not play in that game, so that makes it a big thing. Of course, Ava Stack goes for 28 points as opposed to 4 in the first game. That's actually the difference in the score. So, big difference between the tale of 2 games. You just kind of, the biggest thing to do is forget about that and get back to basics, Brad.
Trying to drive the lane, a little scoop shot by Maddie Bernard. That was a much better half-court set out of Grosse Pointe South. Good ball movement.
Yeah, almost like the Michigan State weave there until someone finally got some daylight to get down the lane, and she took it down the lane and took it to the basket and kind of lulled the Cougars to sleep on defense there. I was watching her warm up, by the way. She has got just a gorgeous stroke or jump shot, just beautiful rotation. I mean, when you're talking about teaching a jump shot, she checks all the boxes.
Bernard able to knock down both. I promise you there is not a canine. There is no dog in attendance tonight. That's one of the students in the student section that's barking like that.
Yeah, there are no support animals in attendance here tonight, Brad.
Terrific individual effort there by Simone Andrews. Goes coast to coast for the lay-in, her first bucket of the night, and gives the Cougars the lead right back, 8-7. Minute left to go in the first quarter of play.
That's a nice job of just answering. Grosse Pointe South took the lead just very, very quickly there and just answer it right back.
And the bank.
I couldn't hear from up here if she called that or not, Brad, but they're going to count it anyway.
Bank open late on a Tuesday night. Gracie dump inside to Malloy. Ava Sogren knocking down that triple for Grosse Pointe South. They're back in front. Just their second lead of the night, 10-8. Arvalia nearly lost track of that dribble. Foster looking to answer from distance. No good. And now a tie-up as three Cougars converged.
The possession arrow's there's no light on the arrow.
And there is a light on the top of it. Which, there we go. Well, yeah, someone's just a little loose there. A loose connection, perhaps.
Change the bulb.
Yeah, only the top of the possession arrow's working. Simone Andrews gonna go to her left side. Gabby Brooks Foster now behind the back, gets cut off. Carvalho from three, it's gonna miss wide and sail out of bounds. Blue Devil basketball. Maddie Bernard behind the back. Being guarded by Andrews. Little crossover. Gonna have to hurry from the volleyball line. Oh! Bounces out. And that will do it. 1 quarter in the books. Grosse Pointe South on the road with the slight advantage, 10-8. Our score. We'll keep it right here, Jeff, as we get set to call the action in the second quarter of play. We mentioned Dakota coming off that victory over Port Huron last night. They suffered that loss to Eisenhower, but kind of been on a little bit of a run. Previous matchup between these two teams went the way of Dakota. Final score of that one was 56-43. That was played back on January the 13th.
They won 6 out of the last 8. They had a tough schedule early on, and they were playing everybody early on. And those are the games though that sharpens you when you get to districts. So, I mean, you know, today obviously is probably going to be the toughest of the week because that back-to-back, and again, as a high school athlete, you're really not conditioned to that. You know, 10-8 early. It's a long game. 3 quarters to go still. A lot of time left, but you just got to get. You know, they looked a little shaky offensively, a little bit. Defensively, I think they look bad. I mean, 10-8, you gave up a bank 3. You know, for the most part, I thought defensively the Cougars have been pretty sharp. You just got to kind of fine-tune that offense a little bit. But right now, you're kind of battling players getting winded from that tough game the other night. So you're gonna see matchups on the floor, groups of 5 that you normally don't see.
Blue Devils with the opening possession of this second quarter. Bernard drives, pull-up jumper's good.
Yeah, you can't let her get to there or she's going to kill you. I mean, she's got a beautiful little mid-range jump shot, and she gets to there, and it's going to be a long, long night for the Cougars.
India Reese turns on the Jets, finds Tambry Williams, works through contact, stays in the lane, and suffers a little bit of a foul there on the floor.
And vice versa, if you let India Reese do that to you and dump off to Tambry all day long, that's not going to go well for you either. You really can't give up the drive like that. Keep the Cougars shooting outside jump shots.
Second foul on Morgan Duff. That's a dangerous pass. Gabby Brooks Foster had to leave her feet to try to come down with it. Maddie Bernard out on the run. Missed a short little shot, but it's Isabella Devereaux that comes down with the rebound, and then a double dribble call there on the junior.
Yeah, the one thing you heard Coach Phil a second ago, they got out of hustle to that loose ball. And that's something that he really prides on, Cougars getting the loose balls. And you definitely don't want to lose the loose ball battle. Those are hustle plays that add up out the game. And, boy, Dakota just needs to right now get some flow offensively. They just don't seem to really be in sync offensively.
Well, teardrop, no good. It will stay with Dakota. Jessica Moshenko into the game.
Coach Bernard's arguing that the tallest girl on the floor hit that ball out of bounds. He might have a point there. It's hard to tell. And, we don't get the benefit here of a quick look on a replay. The referees only get one look at it. So he had a point, though.
Ball loose on the floor, and we have a tie-up jump ball. Possession arrow finally working.
Yeah, we can see that. I can see that great from here. Fantastic.
So it's Dakota ball.
That little 1 millimeter dot wasn't cutting it for me.
Moshenko, corner pocket three, no good.
And they're
Simone
getting the
Andrews.
Looks. Oh, boy, they did not see her. Too late, way too late.
And pass into the feet there of Foster. Simone Andrews coming in support. And there's a hustle play there by Andrews. Moshenko catches, draws a bit of a double team, floats one up, no good. Madison Duff comes down with the board. Up ahead, somebody lost track of Devereaux. Couldn't finish. Follow-up's no good either. And now Andrews hits the floor. We're going to get a foul call against the Blue Devils.
Well, it's definitely not an offensive display being put on right now by both teams. Been a little bit of a struggle bus right now today. A lot of easy missed shots. Just doesn't seem to have a lot of flow right now offensively. Both teams just kind of right now really just trying to find their rhythm.
Maloney comes in for Moshenko. Andrews pull-up jumper short. She's able to track down her own rebound. Now India Reese. They would like Reese to get going, as she has been held off the score sheet here in the early parts of this game. Bernard plays some defense, and Isabella Devereaux knocks Reese down to the floor. No call. Basketball out of bounds over to Grosse Pointe South.
A little insult to injury. Now you get the foul call. You lose the ball out of bounds, and you give the ball back to Grosse Pointe South. Almost 10 minutes in, Brad, and only 8 points for the Cougars right now. They're really, really struggling offensively.
And for a team that averages nearly 51 per game. And a terrific find down low. Easy bucket there for Olivia Bockert.
Yeah, if you're Grosse Pointe South right now, the tempo of this game is exactly the way you like it. The pace of play, everything. You can't ask for any more than what's already been happening.
Foster, cross-court pass to Andrews. Will back it down now. Trying to find Maloney. Boy, oh boy, able to split a couple defenders, and then a takeaway there for Grosse Pointe South. Devereaux near side, crosses over Reese. Now has to go back for the basketball. And a carry call against Devereaux.
Yeah, and this little zone right now Grosse Pointe South is in is really giving the Cougars some trouble. And they get a cutter in late. It's a matchup zone, and it's kind of throwing them off with like a man-to-man look. But they're giving them so many different looks out of it. The Cougars are really struggling to find an open girl. A couple times, they've cut down and no one's seen anybody in the baseline. Andrews has been open down there a couple times. Brooks Foster was open, and just no one's really kind of peeking underneath the basket. You're gonna have to really try to find different ways to soften up this zone right now. If you're the Cougars right now, because right now Grosse Pointe South's got the pace of play exactly how they want it.
Dakota is yet to score here in this second quarter of plays. They've been outscored 4-0. 5:05 left to go in the first half.
Yeah, we're 3 minutes in.
Andrews over to Brooks Foster. Yo-yos the basketball, now kind of shovels one into the corner for Maloney, gets it right back. Andrews holds the ball high above her head, finds Foster on the left wing side. High arcing three, no good. Maloney comes down with it. Brooks Foster again, same spot on the floor, can't connect. Carvalho able to track it down. Opportunities aplenty, and finally the Cougars pay it off. Tambry Williams. Boy, oh boy, where would Dakota be without Williams in this ball game? 8 of their 10 points.
Well, the referee's really letting them play.
Williams. Carvalho changes directions. Got to be careful. Finally dumps it over to Andrews. Andrews, 15-footer short. Brooks Foster comes down with the board. High, arcing, floater's no good. Boy, oh boy, she puts a lot of air under that shot, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
And finally, Kevin Richards, the head coach at Grosse Pointe South, will ask for and get granted a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of pace is starting to move a little bit, and he's probably trying to tell him, hey, slow down a little bit. I really like the way Grosse Pointe South's offense is working, though. You know, a lot of picks, a lot of dives to the basket, and what happens is the Cougars are kind of getting stuck up top watching the ball, and when that girl dives, there's no one there, and they've gotten a couple easy bunnies out to kind of get that lead going a little bit. You know, they're trying to feed into Tambia right now, and right, you know, I mean, I don't know if, I mean, Simone Andrews has 2 points. And we're 12 minutes into this ball game. I mean, that's something that just can't happen if you're the Cougars. You know, Tambry, thank God, has got 8. But I mean, right now, you know, when you're struggling to score the basketball, you know, some of these other players are going to need to step up. Whether it's, you know, Reese or someone's got to start making some baskets here, because right now this first half has really been a struggle bus for the Cougars offensively.
Simone Andrews holds the school record for points in a game with 38. She did that against Saginaw Arthur Hill. And there's some defense leading to offense. A takeaway for Gabby Brooks Foster. Banks it home.
Yeah, and Coach, I don't know if it was on the timeout or not, but Coach McHugh now going with 3 guards, almost 3-point guards, and Garvalia, Andrews, and Foster, and then Brooks Foster, and then you got the 2 bigs in there, Maloney and Tambry Williams. So a little different look, maybe trying to use some of that speed a little bit. Well, the press, though, has been tough on the Cougars.
Turnovers really starting to pile up. Simone Andrews comes away now with the steal. Changes directions. Goes coast to coast. Dump off pass there for Williams. Just too hot to handle. And it goes out of bounds.
Nothing's been easy tonight for the Dakota Cougars offensively. Nor Grosse Pointe South, for that matter. They just managed to put 2 more balls in the basket than the Cougars have.
Tap away there by Andrews. Well, the story thus far has been Grosse Pointe South getting to the line. They're 3 of 4 from the free throw stripe. Dakota has yet to shoot free throws. That's the difference right now in the score.
Game, yeah.
Some full court pressure now from the Cougars.
Got some looks inside. Referees are letting them play a little bit, and the Cougars just haven't yet to get a shooting foul.
Bernard able to beat that full court pressure.
Yeah, she's really smooth.
Hip high dribble into the corner now. Bounce pass over to Bachert. Swings it over to Devereaux. Trying to find it inside. Maloney trying to take a charge. Tough break for her, no call. And Olivia Bachert able to get the basket. Foster gets the trap. Try to find Garvali on the far side. Pass tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cougars.
Yeah, those one-hand kitty passes aren't tough, especially if you don't get everything on it. And Grosse Pointe South's been tipping everything. Kind of looks like almost like a stacked 2-3 zone, like a mixture of the Syracuse zone. But they're putting a lot of pressure with the top 2 up top on the guards, way away from the basket. And the Cougars just haven't been able to get the ball into the middle, which softens that zone up.
Typically, when a team's playing zone, you'll find jump shots where? At the elbows?
Elbows are usually also on the wing, but they just have, they're so extended out. What you really got to do is you got to have someone ready on the block. So when you hit a wing, that pass got to go into the block right away, because everyone's so spread out. You can really attack it inside. The ball just got to move faster, Brad.
And good vision there by Brooks Foster. Nearly came away with a steal. Now she's using some of that physical play. And Grosse Pointe South able to keep possession.
There's a lot of shoving, pushing,
yeah,
and there's no
officials
calls.
allowing a lot to go through. There's a step through and a drop pass. And it's Elsa Bachert. She leads all scorers for Grosse Pointe South with 7.
A lot of frustrated players down there, Brad. Right now they're trying to figure out how these officials are calling this game, and it's a struggle all the way around down there. Parents are yelling at officials. It's getting a little crazy. We still got 2 minutes of play in the first half.
First free throws coming up here for the Cougars. They'll belong to Simone Andrews. You mentioned just 2 points in this ball game for the junior. Make it 3.
Not to mention the Cougars' first free throw of the night. That's crazy.
Brooks Foster will take a seat. Gia Rizzo back into the game. Andrews able to knock down both. 2016 Grosse Pointe South with the advantage. Trying to pick up their second MAC Red victory of the season. Dakota, this is their final league game of the year. A kickball out of bounds. Hard to believe the MAC Red season's already over.
We got the tournaments coming up, and then you get into district play, and before you blink, before you know it, it's February. And we always say how long the high school basketball season is, and then you get to February and like, gosh, where'd the season go? Look at that pick.
And it's sprung Olivia Bockert. Olivia Bockert 6 points in this quarter.
You can see Coach McCune right now. The wheels are turning as he's trying to way to kind of attack the zone and this press. Right now, Grosse Pointe South being able to do pretty much whatever they want.
Rizzo, tenacious play. Garvalia thought about the 3. Instead, she'll drive inside. Oh. Couldn't get the shot to fall, but she will go to the line to shoot 2.
Well, that's 2 players that have tried to take charges, and they've both eaten a shoulder.
That's Devereaux's second, the team 5th. I really like that MAC tournament. I think that was a brilliant idea. Kind of gets you ready and prepared for tournament play.
Yeah, and just kind of another carrot in the season. It could be a long season. It just kind of, it's definitely a nice addition.
Gives you a little extra motivation, some incentive to play well down the stretch rather than play a bunch of crossover games. You stay competitive. You get matched up with like teams out of the conference below you. Garvalia has provided a little bit of a lift here off the bench for the Cougars. Lead down to 2 for Grosse Pointe South. A little shake and bake move by Maddie Bernard. Tried to spring herself free.
Yeah, the Cougars have turned up the defense a little bit. Rizzo out there on a coast-to-coast steal, and Garvalia with some free throws. The next thing you know, the Cougars are right back in this game.
Good find, but an even better block shot. I believe that was Simone Andrews that got her hand up to block that shot. And I'll say last touch by the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and then it was coming down, number 12 for Grosse Pointe South. Olivia Bechert knocked it out of bounds and gave the ball back to the Cougars here, a chance to tie the game.
Andrews turned the corner. Good individual effort there out of the junior. Under half a minute to play here in the first half. Maddie Bernard.
No, Brad, the difference in that first half was when Grosse Pointe South not letting the Cougars get much to the basket. The last 3 possessions, Cougars all the way to the basket, and now we have a tie game.
Near steal, Bernard, 18-footer, no good. Simone Andrews comes down with it. Under 10 seconds remaining, Andrews harassed in the backcourt. Gets it up ahead to Rizzo's. Gonna have to hoist, gonna have to get it off, and that will not count. Even if it went, it would not have counted. Buzzer had sound. Entertaining first half of basketball. Tied up at 22. Jeff, your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, it was tough sledding in that first half, but basically when it's all said and done, we're back to 0-0 here. So both coaches are going to get in the locker room and make some adjustments here and try to attack each other. And I think if you're the Cougars right now, you continue to do what you're doing. You just got to get some of those baskets to get in, and you can blow this game wide open. And you're Grosse Pointe South. We got to figure out, hey, we can't let them get in the lane. So this will be interesting. Get ready for a good second half of basketball.
A 10-minute break here on Chippewa Valley Cable Television. The two teams will talk things over in their respective locker rooms. But when we come back, it'll be the start of the second half of play. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back inside the gymnasium here at Dakota High School. Live girls varsity basketball action here on Chippewa Valley Cable Television. Tie score 22-22, Dakota and Grosse Pointe South. Blue Devils with the opening possession of the second half. And it's Tambry Williams with the takeaway. Up ahead to India Reese. Reese goes up strong, can't hit. Maloney nearly came away with the rebound, and instead it comes down to the Blue Devils. Out in transition, Bernard lays it up, lays it in.
Yeah, nobody stopped the ball the whole way down. Someone's got to cut that ball off and stop it high, and then someone gets to the basket. But they were kind of both waiting on each other to stop the ball, and no one did. And easy two for Grosse Pointe South.
Simone Andrews looking for the answer. She comes up empty. Basketball last touched by the Cougars, so Grosse Pointe with the 2-point lead and the ball. Having a hard time getting this pass in. Finally, they're able to find Morgan Duff. Oltersdorf cuts her off at the timeline. Bernard between the circles, kind of backs down a little bit. Simone Andrews applying the defense there. Isabella Devereaux ran out of real estate, but still able to get up a shot. India Reese, no points in this basketball game. She desperately needs to get going.
Yeah, she had a lane there. Got a little back tap there, and Cougars will keep the ball, though.
Simone Andrews kind of asserted herself, so to speak, in that second quarter. 4 of her 6 points came in that second frame. Devereaux up ahead. That was Reese that stepped in between the pass, cut it off, but unfortunately couldn't save it before it went out of bounds.
Yeah, tough turnovers back there on the other end. You know, two Cougars occupying the same space. You're going to turn the ball over every time. I'll tell you what, Grosse Pointe South is really getting, you know, they do a lot of screens and cuts, and they're doing a nice job of getting open right now, where the Cougars are struggling to get open. And that call right there, Brad, has not been called very much.
No, I was just going to say that's about as soft of a call as we have seen here tonight. And more importantly, that's Elsa Bockert's third personal foul, so she's going to have to take a seat. She's replaced by her sister, Olivia Bockert. Oltersdorf tried to find Tambry Williams, who was calling for that basketball.
Different number, same jeans.
Gotcha. Olivia, the senior. Elsa, the junior. Oltersdorf, the senior, couldn't finish. Now it's Maddie Bernard, the sophomore, out in transition. The step through, no call. Boy, oh boy, this game has kind of been all over the place. And now we're gonna get a charging call on India Reese.
It has not been easy for anyone tonight, really. It's been everything in the lane. You know, when you're struggling offensively, you start trying to force things, and that was kind of what happened there for the Cougars. And they've just been really out of sync pretty much the entire evening offensively. Not really kind of what we're used to seeing from this team. Obviously feeling the effects of playing a game less than 24 hours ago.
And now India Reese goes to the end of the bench. His head coach, Kevin Richards at Grosse Pointe South, wants a timeout. It's going to be a 30-second timeout, but India Reese went to the end of the bench for the Cougars, and she seems to be hobbled after that offensive foul was called against her. You kind of speculate that it was a lower body injury, perhaps an ankle.
Yeah, usually when you go to the basket like that, especially taking a charge, sometimes, you know, in the game of basketball, there's so many ways you can come down, even on the floor, and tweak something, let alone come down on a foot, come down and sideways on a leg. You know, just it seems like we've seen it more this year than ever before.
She is actually going to go to the locker room. So not a good sign if you're a Cougar fan. Lose India Reese perhaps for the rest of the night, perhaps even longer. She is in considerable amount of pain. Carvalho comes away with the steal, gets bumped down, ended up on her backside, and then a steal there for Grosse Pointe South. Madison Duff Gets cut off by Maloney. Tremendous defense there by Gracie Maloney. Kicked out of bounds. Cougar basketball.
Yeah, in that timeout, Coach McCune went to a 2-3 zone to kind of mix things up a little bit, and Cougars got a nice steal off it, but kind of how the evening has gone for them. They just can't convert on the other end. They've had so many looks.
And Coach McCune's pencil's getting awfully short as it's been back to the drawing board throughout this game as he has mixed and matched and gone to reserves and gone deep into his bench. And there's a tremendous effort there by Tambry Williams.
Yeah, she set her up with that move to the middle, and then a nice drop set spin with the left hand out the glass. And, you know, Cougars just basically got to keep feeding her for right now. Got to get her going.
She has a dozen. Tie ball game, 24-24. Good cut to the basket. Now Tambry Williams is going to pick up the foul. Had to commit the foul there as Manny Bernard was wide open underneath the hoop.
Yeah, they've been chasing behind that screen all night long, and Grosse Pointe South just comes out that screen, and they've been wide open, and they keep getting the ball, pounding that ball inside, and that's how they've been able to free themselves. There's that emotional support dog again, back in the crowd.
It's not really working, is it?
No, I don't think they've missed since they've barked.
Bernard now a perfect 4 for 4 from the line, gives her 8 in the game.
Maybe they should try a cat or something, go to a different animal.
Simone Andrews, oh, that's a tough luck miss. That hit every piece of the iron and refused to go down. Gabby Brooks Foster, little bunny, no good. Boy, oh boy, it is tough go of things right now for the Cougars. Step back two and fouled. And get Tambry Williams for the foul.
She carried the ball, took a step and a half with no dribble there, and that's got to be. And instead they're going to the free throw line to shoot 2.
And instead they're going to call that foul on Simone Andrews, so that's just her first. It would have been Tambry Williams' third, so that was actually a big call there to put that foul on Simone Andrews instead.
No bark, and she missed the free throw.
How about that? Oh, it's back.
Swish.
We got this figured out.
If I'm Mr. Finney, the athletic director here, I'm going to ask them to go.
Boy, oh boy. Cougars right now don't look too engaged.
Oh, this looks like a tired basketball team right now.
Carvalho. Whoa, boy, that's
way.
one way to get it in. The deflection off Maloney. And now a turnover. Well, perhaps that's what you need to get going.
I think that ball actually went off of Gracie's face and into the basket.
They don't ask you how, they ask you how many.
That's the way to use your head, Gracie.
Gabby Brooks Foster over to Carvalho. This is a big three coming up. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Dakota.
Well, if one of those falls, I mean, they're getting the looks. Just haven't been able to knock them down. There's only so much you can do as a coach. But boy, I mean, you just got to keep battling through it. You know, you have these nights. It's a long season, and you know this is kind of the game.
Simone Andrews from the parking lot off the back heel, no good.
She's so tall.
Simone Andrews rips it down. Gracie Maloney now, and now we're gonna get a jump ball. It'll stay with Dakota.
That's outstanding defense by Grosse Pointe South. They're a little big. They're getting out rebounded, and just a nice job to get in there and scrap and tie the ball up.
Well, this looks to be a much energized Cougar team. Carvalho goes up with the ball fake. A little up and under move. How good has the freshman been here tonight? 6 points.
Yeah, she's been solid. She made some nice passes too, and some hustle on defense. And like I said, they're going to need some bench tonight with everyone being so tired from the night before.
Williams comes down with the rebound. Cougars trail by 1, 29-28, 3:20 left to go in the third. And Williams, slightly out of control, able to shovel that pass over to Carvalho. Brooks Foster. And nothing's fallen from distance here tonight. Foster instead goes inside the lane. Can't get that floater to fall.
It literally seems like Tambry's got like 35 rebounds.
And now no call there. Coach Richards wants a travel call. He thought Brooks Foster kind of flipped over.
She rolled over.
Yeah.
He ain't wrong. I mean, he's definitely got a point there. Pointing out Tambry being the biggest girl on the floor in that. I mean, he's been 2 for 2 in that.
Pass too low there for Sogren.
Grosse points out, just kind of shooting themselves in the foot right now, letting Dakota hang around, and
Eventually these shots are going to start falling for Dakota. They're getting too good of looks.
yeah, you would think with the law of averages, it's the way this team can shoot. Boy, oh boy, has it been tough.
Andrews, no points here in the third quarter. That pass too tall for Tambry Williams. India Reese still in the locker room.
I don't know if they're trying to maybe tape her
Nope,
up. But
she is back on the bench. I apologize. She is on the bench. Phil McCune was standing in front of her.
Oh, all right. Brooklyn putting some defense, really D'ing up. Playing some deniers. 2 freshmen guarding the other freshman.
Duff. Over to Olivia Bockert. Boy, oh boy.
They just haven't been able to stop that cut.
Bernard, too good right now. 13 points for the young sophomore. Gia Rizzo up top. Carvalho thought about the 3. Brooks Foster had to save it. And oh boy, they're gonna say off Carvalho there. For as poor as things have gone here tonight for Dakota, you look up at the big board and you realize they're only down 3 points.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what you kind of hold on to. I mean, I know it's been tough, and you know, coming in this game, people were saying, you know, look, they should walk all over them, but nobody told Grosse Pointe South that.
No, they certainly didn't get that memo. And we've talked about it throughout tonight's broadcast. This Grosse Pointe South team extremely young, as is Dakota. Dakota with only 2 seniors on the roster. Swinging around the outside, trying to get Malloy open in the corner. They did just that. She is a good 3-point shooter.
Here's something I'm trying to just dawn on me. I don't think the Cougars have made a 3 tonight, have they?
They have not. Nothing from distance. And there's another find inside. And Sogren once again. On the other hand, Grosse Pointe South's only hit 1 shot from distance. Now numbers 3 on none. And a little twist, a little turn. Morgan Duff goes up with the shot, got fouled. And they're going to send Morgan Duff to the line to shoot 2. Freshman with 2 points. Simone Andrews getting ready to check back in this basketball game.
You look back on this game, you know, if this is a game that the Cougars drop, I mean, it's been the turnovers. Turnovers and a lot of missed easy bunnies. And because Grosse Pointe South has kept you around. They haven't been able to pull away. And they've got up to 5 a couple times, and the Cougars have come roaring back. They just haven't been able to kind of take the lead and sustain it.
An empty trip to the line for Duff. Simone Andrews back in the game, as well as Gracie Maloney. Boy, oh boy, there's just a lid on the hoop right now. Because that's typically a shot that Andrews does not miss. And that's point blank range, and it just kind of skipped out. 1:02 left to go in the third. Full court pressure now being applied by the Cougars, and Malloy's going to get the little nickel and dimer. 5th team foul now on Dakota.
Only 1 for Grosse Pointe South. It's been
Maddie Bernard. Here comes a double team. She avoids it. Good court vision. 3 on the way. Nothing but air on that Sogren 3.
As of it looks right now, both teams are going to be under their average offensively. Now the question is who can get it done come the final 8 minutes. Because that's what it's going to come down to.
Andrews forced to pick up her dribble. Malloy had it stripped. Maddie Bernard twists and turns. Wow, what a move.
You know, the Cougars all night have been trying to drive through traffic, and Grosse Pointe South has gotten hands on the basketball. And, you know, just instead of making that extra pass, you know, the Cougars have struggled with it tonight, and now another turnover.
Double dribble called on Simone Andrews, picked it up and put it back down. Maddie Bernard, 11 points, Jeff, in this third quarter.
Yeah, she's had a heck of a third quarter. Getting to the basket, making some nice passes. I mean, she's doing it all out there for her team. There's no question about it. She's been the MVP of this game.
Fantastic comeback story after suffering that knee injury a season ago. Tried to pocket pass there, and the buzzer will sound. 3 quarters in the books with the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils in front, 35-28. They end up outscoring Dakota in that third quarter by a 13-6 margin.
Well, I think if Grosse Pointe South, Brad, coming into this final session here is you try to just make sure you have efficient possessions where you can take time off the clock and limit the number of possessions the Cougars get. They're down 7. They got to chase you. Don't make it easy on them. They've done that, though, and have kept Dakota in the game. So if Grosse Pointe South can take care of the basketball here and really make the Cougars chase them and have great possessions, it's going to be a tough final minutes for the Cougars.
And that is the one drawback to the Michigan high school game, the fact that you do not have the shot clock, so you can bleed a lot of time off the clock. Perhaps that's a strategy that Grosse Pointe South uses to their advantage here in this fourth quarter. It is going to be a severe uphill climb for the Cougars. Thankfully for Dakota, they do have some sharp shooters that can get them back in this game in a hurry. Simone Andrews, 6 points, nothing in that third quarter. Gabby Brooks-Foster has been held to 2 points here tonight.
Well, and if you're the Cougars right now, I mean, this final 8 minutes, I mean, you got to just turn the heat up, way up, till the dial don't turn no more. I mean, you got to throw everything but the kitchen sink at them. India Reese back in the game.
That is a good sight for everyone in attendance and watching at home. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in tonight here on Chippewa Valley Cable Television. Brad Fetters alongside my broadcast partner, Jeff Vitale. Good to have the big man back in the saddle. Simone Andrews, there we go, right on cue. She knocks down the triple try.
Just got the ball moving, got the zone moved just a little bit to give her enough space, but this is one thing you just can't do right now, though, is give up a layup right now. You need stops.
Or a 3 from the corner, short. Tambry Williams comes down the rebound, able to get it over to Foster, who had her pocket picked. But unfortunately, Maddie Bernard's steal went out of bounds.
Yeah, she's been right there, and kind of a tough one to get past. She's got those long arms, quick hands, and she's done a nice job of poking a lot of basketballs out tonight. Keep moving the basketball.
Trying to feed the post now, tie up. Well, kind of a quick whistle there, wasn't it?
Yeah, but, you know, the big thing is you catch the ball, she brings the ball down, and, you know, everyone's going to tie you up. You're the biggest girl on the floor. You got to keep that ball above your head. But, you know, one thing the Cougars did there is they got that ball moving around the perimeter, get that zone moving, and Simone was able to knock it down. That time, they kind of just stood around, dumped the ball in the post, and now turnover.
Morgan Duff, right wing side. Bockert straight away. Devereaux on the left wing side now. Try to work her way around India Reese. And it's Gracie Maloney that comes over in support. Now Reese.
That's got to be a reach.
With the steal. A little Euro step there.
Euro travel.
On Maloney. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, Jeff. Andrews into the corner for Foster.
Come on, got to get this zone moving.
Andrews from deep. Maloney sticks up her left hand, couldn't come down with the one-handed rebound. And now Andrews with the stave and couldn't keep it in bounds as she falls to the baseline. 6:20 left to go in the fourth.
I mean, this is the way the game's got to be. I mean, full court pressure in your face, just attack, 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 and you just got to chip away at this lead, and hopefully you kind of start, just getting a bunch of baskets to fall. Oh.
And they're going to say out of bounds. Grosse Pointe South had a tough time getting that pass in. Nearly had the 5-second violation. Instead, they throw it out of bounds.
Yeah, they took the girl normally on the basketball, Brad, and double Bernard. They couldn't get the ball to her. Nice adjustment there by Coach McEwen.
So now you got Simone Andrews playing as the off guard. Brooks Foster can't hit. And the ball squirts out to Devereaux, and she traveled.
There's a lot of people shouting instructions right now to these kids on the floor.
A lot of coaching taking place. Maloney over to Tambry Williams. Brooks Foster, one-hand pass over to Simone Andrews. Off the back iron. Foster again can't hit. Boy, oh boy, she's snake bit here tonight. And now a tie-up possession arrow to the Cougars. I believe the official, yeah.
Yeah.
And the far side official standing right in front of the possession arrow.
Better wall than a window, Brad.
Yeah, can't see around them either.
That was a much better possession, though. Got that zone moving, got a good look. I mean, you got to be happy with that look if you're Coach McEwen. That's what you want, Simone shooting that shot.
India Reese now going to try for three. Good rotation short. Williams comes down with the rebound. Foster, underhand pass to Andrews. She can't knock it down. But of course, it's Tambry Williams that can.
With her 75th rebound tonight.
New McElrath record. And a block shot on the other end of the floor. Boy, oh boy, where would the Cougars be without Tambry Williams here tonight? Simone Andrews gets bodied up.
Oh, that's a bad. I'm sorry, that's a bad call, though. That's a terrible call. Her feet's moving. She's not set. Coach McEwen's justified to argue that one. I backed Coach Richards a few times on his complaints. That's a legit complaint on Coach McEwen. That's a terrible call.
Now a baseball pass. Don't need that. Now Williams able to track it down. She stepped on the baseline. Oh, my goodness.
They're going to give the ball to Dakota, though, on a push or something. Maybe instead of calling a foul, though, they're giving the ball to the Cougars, though. So
okay.
It's hard to make sense of this, Brad. Good thing I'm here.
Yeah, you're a big help, Jeff.
Yeah,
let me
sure
tell you.
I am.
Another dangerous pass. And this time Foster takes a shot from Duff.
That's only a second team foul, so that doesn't do, just gives the Cougars the ball out of bounds.
5:10 left to go in the fourth. Gabby Brooks Foster trying to shake her defender, can't. Morgan Duff comes up to defend and comes away with the steal. Maddie Bernard will slow things down. That really hasn't been part of the game plan here in this fourth quarter for Grosse Pointe South. I'm a little surprised that they haven't slowed things down, and now they'll actually take a timeout to talk things over. It will be a full timeout.
Yeah, they might have had a 2-on-2 break there, but, sometimes when you're unsure, the safe thing is obviously when you had the lead, and of course, the Cougars right now on a little run, 5-0 run, to kind of get this lead down to 2. But, just make sure that you got to, we talked about at the beginning of the period, quality possessions, and maybe they didn't see something there and, just thought better of it and brought it back out. And Coach Richards going to draw up something different here now and try to get them another basket. That play where they reverse the ball around the perimeter and they can just have that high cutter come across the top has really just killed the Cougars all night long. I'm wondering if Coach McEwen's talking about that right now, and maybe whoever's guarding the screener switches on that and maybe take that pass away and might get another turnover here.
I mentioned season starting to wind down. Dakota will take on Regina next week before beginning play in that MAC crossover tournament. And Grosse Pointe South will also have a Catholic League opponent in Notre Dame Prep. The game against Notre Dame Prep, the Fighting Irish, will happen in a couple days. Bernard tried to fire a pass inside. Instead, it's a takeaway by Simone Andrews.
Nobody paid attention to Elsa Burchert underneath the basket. She was underneath there for a good 10 seconds before they inbound the ball. Nobody saw her.
Andrews for three, short. Tambry Williams. A foul on the floor. Tambry Williams kind of looked over at the ref like, you gonna get that against me for over the back or what? That was a clean rebound.
Have not been able to stall Tambry underneath the board tonight.
No, she's been
82nd
phenomenal.
rebound.
Those rebounding numbers are unofficial, folks.
Come on, one time.
India Reese from distance. And now near steal and a turnover. Oh boy. Cougars have battled, and they now lead at 36-35, 4:17 left to go in regulation. Two big three-pointers in this fourth quarter as Dakota has opened up this fourth frame with an 8-0 run.
A senior, that's a big shot.
Reese.
Oh.
And I thought she might have traveled. Instead, she turns the ball over. Andrews gets back defensively and gets called for the foul.
Coach McEwen, I can sympathize. There has not been a consistent call going to the basket the entire night, and you just got to think it's like rolling the dice. Is it going to blow the whistle this time? She knocked the free throw down though, so ball don't lie, Brad.
She's now 1 for 3 from the line. Plenty of time left in this basketball game. 4:03.
She knocked them both down. No snake eyes there.
37-36. Blue Devils back in front. First points of the fourth quarter for Grosse Pointe South. And now Tambry is going to earn a trip to the line.
Yeah, nice little pick and roll there. Simone put it right on the money.
That's Elsa Bockert's fourth personal foul, just the team fourth. Now Tambry Williams going to take her time at the line.
Nice shot.
So Elsa Bockert's going to have to take a seat. Ava Sogren into the game to replace her. Sogren with 5 points. Kind of a unique move there at the free throw line to wipe off the bottoms of your shoes. Not quite sure how that helps you make free throws, but apparently it does. Tambry Williams able to knock down both. I have to ask her about that after the game.
Well, she made them both, but the reach and foul there is going to put Grosse Pointe South back on the line, Brad. It's going to be an interesting 3:51 to go. Parent section starting to chirp a little bit. I have a feeling that's only going to get louder as this game winds down.
Madison Duff going to go to the line, shoot a 1-and-1. She hasn't scored here tonight. Smoothly knocks down the first, earns a second. 38-all, 3:51 left to go in the fourth. Kind of a unique free throw stroke. Second one's no good.
84th rebound for Tambry Williams tonight.
It's funny, those rebound totals go up by like 3 or 4 rather than ones.
Well, you did say unofficial, Brad.
That's true.
She got to at least have 84 rebounds. She had to be in the 50s at halftime. I mean, come on. With the number of shots the Cougars have missed tonight, she's gobbled up pretty much every single rebound.
Now she's going to set a little screen, and Gabby Brooks-Foster is going to turn it down. Dangerous pass once again. Gets it right back. They swing it around the perimeter. Reese calls for it and gets it. And going up, making contact, Madison Duff.
Yeah, Grosse Pointe South baiting the Cougars into throwing those long passes, and they're doing it. And they're just a step slow right now, but they've been, that's kind of how Grosse Pointe South has stayed in this game the entire night.
Andrews holds the ball high above her head. Oh boy, Brooks Foster. It's Andrews that comes down with it, resets. Draws the double team right in front of her home bench. And it's Tambry Williams that comes over and helps. High pass, Maloney able to save it.
She didn't see Simone behind her.
Maloney catches to Reese. Around the defender, that went off the top of the backboard, and now a jump ball.
Possession here, Grosse Pointe South. And this is what's also hurt the Cougars tonight. They've had these outside girls run deep and just throwing home runs. It's like watching the Kansas City Chiefs.
This time they go the short crossing route.
Except you don't get the pass interference call.
Gracie Maloney with the deflection. And there's the home run ball. Able to complete it this time to Morgan Duff. And Dakota forced the foul. Duff 2 for 4 from the line. More importantly, perhaps, Tambry Williams' third personal foul.
From here on out now, any foul on the Cougars is an automatic 2, Brad. With both teams knocking down free throws, I think defensively, your goal is to try to keep these guys off the free throw line, because just as they laid the jinx.
Announcer's curse. At Dakota tonight, 6 for 6 from the line. Into the corner, Rizzo around the defender. Terrific find down low, Simone Andrews.
Oh, look who stole
and
the ball.
Steal, off the foot of Tambry Williams and out of bounds. She looks to the rafters, slaps her hands together.
Yeah, well, you can kind of look the other way on that with the 91 rebounds she has tonight.
She's going to reach triple digits here soon.
Wilt Chamberlain-esque.
They're going for that home run ball.
She's baiting it.
Maddie Bernard.
Someone got to stop ball.
And one. Elsa Bockert.
The problem is when you get beat deep like that, when you're at a disadvantage, and she basically pulls Tambry away from her girl, till dish, and now a chance for a three-point play, and you work so hard to get the lead, you give it right back.
Barking work that time.
Yeah.
1 point lead for the Blue Devils, 41-40. Andrews finds Gabby Brooks Foster. Crossover dribble, step through, floater no good. Madison Duff pulls up short of the timeline. And heads up timeout there by Kevin Richards.
That's a really good timeout.
Nearly had a 10-second violation.
He was just praying someone caught that so he could call timeout, because he was at the U, which I'm not mistaken is a little bit out of the coach's box. But he was at the U ready to make that timeout call.
One rule I never quite understood, and I don't know, this is just me thinking out loud, is the fact that a timeout kind of resets the 10-second clock in the backcourt. You think that's a fair rule?
I mean, it's kind of like in football, you get an offsides and it resets your play clock or things like that. I mean, you know, trying that strategy, you only have so many timeouts, and for Grosse Pointe South, you only got one. So I mean, you can try that strategy again, but it's going to kill you down the road. Yeah, it's tough, but you know, where do you keep the clock at though? Holy smokes! And they got it right in the back, great spot. Look at this. Wow.
A jump ball call.
Coach, did you see the look on Coach Richards' face? Absolutely flabbergasted. Maybe it's the officials back-to-back night too. You know, I don't know.
Keeping them busy.
Patient if you're the Cougars.
And trying to feed that post position. Now look out. Tambry Williams, tenacious D, but can't come away with the steal. Up ahead to Bockert. And that full court pressure comes back to bite the Cougars as Elsa Bockert comes up with the lay-in.
Well, that's the one thing too, you know, the Cougars get past the pressure of Grosse Pointe South. They're not cashing in. Grosse Pointe South gets by Dakota's pressure, and they are cashing in, Brad. And now every time you got so many girls up front pressuring, there's only one back, and you're 3-on-1.
Good reminder that the love of the game draws us to sports as players, coaches, spectators, and officials. For officials, it's a way to stay in the game they once played, to feel the thrill of putting on the uniform, stepping onto the playing surface, hustling to make the call, and building relationships which only can be built in sports. If you still have that love for the game, we always need new officials. Register now at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
This has been a strange game. I feel like I needed to warm up some before coming back to a game like this. I feel like I haven't stretched properly. Speaking of stretching properly, how about that Dakota dance team at halftime? I think I pulled a hamstring watching that routine. That was insane.
Some of the best in the county. Entertaining the fans in attendance here at the intermission break. Crunch time now for the Cougars, and that's not what they needed out of that timeout. Simone Andrews with the turnover. Now the Blue Devils can hold the basketball.
Well, they've baited them and throwing those passes all night, and Dakota's kept doing it.
Maddie Bernard has been phenomenal here tonight, Jeff. 15 points. Over and back. Backcourt violation there on Madison Duff.
You know, I understand the need to stall the clock out, but that's what happens more times than not. I would just run your offense. The basket puts you up 2 possessions. Just stay in the flow of what you've been doing.
Andrews with the shovel shot. This game far from over. We have seen some crazy stuff here tonight. Now it's a steal for the Cougars. Gabby Brooks Foster, as Coach McCune asks for, and is granted a timeout.
You'd probably say, you know, coaches go home and are probably going to sleep good tonight. Coaches aren't going to sleep good tonight. This is one where you're going to play every possession back in your head about 13 times, and before you know it, it's time to go to work. So, yeah, this is one of those games where you do not sleep good. But you know, this is what we talked about too. I mean, the Cougars have given Grosse Pointe South every opportunity to pull into this game, and they just haven't been able to do it. That's why you've seen the records struggle the way they have. They just haven't been able to put away teams. You know, throwing crazy passes across the middle. Just both teams really just do not a very good job of taking care of the basketball tonight.
Yeah, Grosse Pointe South had the 43-40 lead, had the basketball with about 40 seconds left to go in this game, and they get called for the backcourt violation. Dakota with the basketball coming out of the timeout. They trail 43-42, 29 seconds now left in regulation. Gabby Brooks Foster over the Cougar logo at half court, works her way around a pick supplied by Tambry Williams. Now Gabby Brooks Foster nearly lost it. Simone Andrews over to Rizzo for 3, and the lead doesn't go down, and now they got a foul, and they will foul Olivia Bockert. Double bonus situation here for Grosse Pointe South. Bockert has not had a trip to the free throw line here tonight.
Well, no disrespect to Gia Rizzo. I don't think that's the play he had drawn up in the timeout. She got a good look at it, put it off the glass. You know, what you got to talk about here is if she misses the first free throw, it's 2 anyway, but if she gets 1 of the 2 and it's a 1-possession game, you just got to attack the basket, and I'd say right now you got to get the ball to 33.
Yeah, Tambry Williams obviously with 16 points here tonight, that post presence down low.
I mean, she's the tallest girl on the floor. You attack and try to get it up to her and let her kind of catch and try to finish if it's a 2-possession game. If it's a free, you know, they make both free throws here. I mean, you know, India Reason that last possession was out. We don't know if that angle's giving her some problems, but you need to get some shooters on the floor to be able to spot up and hit something. You know, to tie the game. You got 11 seconds to go, so you don't have all the time in the world, and you know Grosse Pointe South is going to put a lot of pressure on you, and that middle of the floor is going to be tough sledding.
Only 2 made 3-pointers here tonight for Dakota, 1 by Simone Andrews, and The aforementioned India Reese knocking down a triple. 11.1 seconds, 43, make it 44-42 now. As Olivia Bachert able to knock down the first free throw.
The dog has not been reliable.
And Bachert, calm, cool, and collected, knocks down both.
And that's a great call. Foul.
Yep.
So now they got to take the ball out. You foul again, you put on the line for a one-on-one.
Well,
2 free throws aren't going to beat you.
As a coach, do you like fouling up 3?
Yeah, yeah. Especially the way the offense has been struggling for Dakota tonight.
They're going to roll it up. Simone Andrews. Got to take a shot here. Got to take a shot here. Got to take a shot here. Foster tried to get up a shot and had it blocked cleanly by Maddie Bernard. Tough loss here tonight for the Cougars.
Yeah, just out of sync all night offensively and not on the same page, and come away with a 45-42 loss to the last place team in the red division.
It's going to be a tough one to swallow for the Cougars as Grosse Pointe South comes in and steals one on the road. Final score 45-42. Grosse Pointe South improves to 7-8 overall, 2-7 in MAC Red play. Dakota now falls to 9-8 and will finish MAC Red play with a 6-4 record. Tough game all around. Credit Grosse Pointe South. They came in prepared and ready to go, and they come away victors tonight by the final score of 45-42. For my broadcast partner, Jeff Vitale, I'm Brad Fetters, saying goodnight one final time from Dakota High School. You've been watching a Chippewa Valley Cable Television production. We'll see you next time. Once again, the final score, Grosse Pointe South 45, our Dakota Cougars 42. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.